How's it going, guys? It's Mouseball, and this is the Attack Mouse Nation, and welcome to Motoring with Mouseball. And guys, today's video is brought to you by Elite Attack Mouse Nation member and super contributor Roger Gusty, Elite Attack Mouse Nation member and super contributor J.G. Mopar, Elite Attack Mouse Nation member and super contributor Denise Shumko, and Elite Attack Mouse Nation member and super contributor Maxwell Duncan. Now guys, I've spent a majority of my life working on cars, and this is where it's led me, working on antique and classic muscle cars. Now, obviously, a lot of these cars you guys have seen before, but this new chapter that Mama Mouse and I are on is something totally different. We're subtracting 2 of the 4 wheels, and when it comes down to doing that, well, it's a totally different matter altogether. You know, you're talking about a vehicle that leans through turns. You're talking about a vehicle with a smaller, higher revving engine. You're talking about a motorcycle. And basically, when it comes down to motorcycles, well, I don't know anything about them. And to be brutally honest with you guys, this is a whole new world that I'm actually not too sure about, because Mama Mouse has been trying to get me into this world because it's a very lucrative world when it comes down to actually custom painting and putting together really nice looking bikes. Now, behind my 2024 Honda Grom is a Virago that was given to my dad because the person didn't want it, and we're currently trying to rebuild it. And right here is Turbo Tom's Grom, which he bought brand new, and not even 4 days into owning it, he's already tore it apart, and he's having me repaint it for him in true Turbo Tom fashion. I mean, pretty much all the parts except for the rear fender and the headlight are custom painted for right now. I mean, obviously Turbo Tom's going to get the rest of the bike done in due time. But the thing is that one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video was because I wanted to let you know the reasons why I want to ride. And the first reason is because of my son, Aaron. Now, I haven't talked to Aaron in around 25 years. So it's been a very, very long time talking to him and getting to connect with my son, who obviously lives in Maine, and he's quite the motorcycle enthusiast himself. Now, in order to connect with him, I decided that, hey, maybe it's time for me to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And right here with this 2024 Honda Grom, which has all of 6 miles on it, well, this is what I'm going to use to learn the basics, to learn how to stop, to learn how to shift, to learn the friction zone, to learn how to do a U-turn, to pretty much learn all of the basic skills it takes to actually operate the motorcycle without a hitch. Now, obviously, I've spoken about Moto Jitsu and his drills to pretty much keep you from having this shiny side on the ground, high siding, low siding, you name it, any kind of accident that could really turn into a trip to a funeral home. And I take what this man says very seriously. Now, obviously, a lot of people don't agree with him and his personality because he's got a very no-nonsense, to-the-point, brief, and, you know, just direct way to answer questions. And that's not for everybody. I understand that. But when it comes down to life-saving techniques, when it comes down to saying, hey, you need to practice, practice, practice. It doesn't matter if you've ridden 1,000 miles. It doesn't matter if you've ridden for 30 years. You know, if you don't know how to use a bike in its full capacity, well, you don't really know how to ride now, do you? And the thing is, it's not going to stop with the Honda Grom. Obviously, I'm going to get an Aprilia and then step up to a Ducati like Mama Mouse, who has the Panigale V4S. Now, obviously, a leader bike or any bike above 660 cc's is way beyond me. You know, even a 660cc bike is way beyond me at this point because again, I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't want to go out and make a total fool of myself and end up dropping the bike, getting into an accident, or even worse, getting killed and not being able to make videos for you guys anymore. But looking into motorcycling, I can tell you one thing right now. My main reasons for wanting to ride a motorcycle is because I actually want to learn this craft. And this is a craft that requires precision, it requires a lot of thought process, it requires strategy, and it requires passion for the craft. And that's something that I have in spades. I love everything that I'm capable of doing. I love learning new things, and obviously working on cars for 25 years has granted me access to working on some of the most special cars that have ever come across this place ever since my dad and I have started the business. Plus, it's allowed me to create a lot of things that people wouldn't normally have inside their cars. You know, custom paint, custom hood vents, you know, shift knobs. I mean, just about anything you can think of. These shields back here, which I'm redoing. You know, these are the things that are important to me, that are important to Mama Mouse. And when it comes down to my artistic talent, my ability to airbrush, my ability to fix a car, disassemble it, put it back together with all the bolts back in it, mind you, well, that requires dedication, patience, and a overall passion for your craft. Because I did watch that Moto Jitsu video where he said, you don't want to ride a motorcycle, or I don't think it was you don't want to ride a motorcycle, but you don't belong on a motorcycle. And he kind of explained why a majority of people don't belong on a motorcycle, and it's very true. But I can guarantee you one thing. I'm a person that does belong on a motorcycle because I want to learn. And not just learn, but I want to do the drills. I want to take time out of my day to get on the bike and actually do drill after drill after drill after drill after drill until I have the craft perfected. And even then, it won't be perfect because you can never stop learning on a motorcycle. The terrains change, the weather changes, the situations change, and obviously the people out on the roads are varying in the way they operate their vehicles, and that changes as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the helmet and take this bike out for a couple of quick drills, so that way when I go to MSF, I'll be prepared and ready and not freaking out when I get there. So I'll get to you guys in part 2, where I actually do a couple of drills, like friction zone, maybe a U-turn or two, and then just wrap it up for the day.